My pleasure.
And sometimes it's just all about time, and it's time.
Yeah.
It's time. And like I was telling my viewers before you joined, um, you just never know. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago when I did this, a young lady reached out to me afterwards and she said, hearing the story that was told on this platform potentially saved her life. She said because she did not know of another way that she could just go on after so much loss that she had suffered. And when
Mm,
she heard the young lady on this podcast about 2 weeks ago, and how she got through her situations because she was the only surviving person of her family. Like
Mm,
the streets took all her brothers, the
mm.
prison system took her father, and he got killed in prison, and
Wow.
then drugs took her mother. So her whole family got wiped out to the streets or something related to the streets.
Mm,
And
mm,
so I just like to always say that you just never know who's watching and whose life you can touch. And if I could just reach one
yeah.
person on this podcast every week, then it is worth it for me. And it's just
uh,
my way of being able to have another method for people to heal through the sharing of our stories. I've shared mine, bits and pieces throughout this project, and of course, I've had many, 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 many other amazing stories. So thank you for being a part of tonight's episode of Trauma to Triumph. Her name, as I told you all, is Angelica. And what I like to do on here is I really will turn it over to you
Yeah.
and you'll become more of the person talking and I'll jump in because I have to assume certain questions that my viewers will want me to ask you. But for the most part, I want you to just tell people a little bit about who you are, the woman that they see today, an overview of who you are now, but then take us on a trip down memory lane. And I know that in life, and especially like for me, example, there was trauma that I could talk about as a child. There was
Yeah.
trauma that occurred in my life in middle school. Then there was some trauma that occurred as a young adult. So, you go back to
Yeah.
as far as you're comfortable going back to where you feel like, you know what? Trauma first set in my life here and talk about it from there and then just take us on a journey
Okay.
so that we can understand who we're looking at today and how God has been so good to you to keep you through whatever it is that you've gone through.
Yes.
absolutely. First, I want to say thank you for having me. I think it's so amazing what you are doing with this platform. And I have never, ever even thought of resurfacing some of the things that I have lived through in my life until your platform. And
Oh,
I said, it definitely is a life changing, life altering experience when you go through trauma and come out
mm-hmm.
on the other side.
Yep,
Yeah. So
for sure.
I am Angela Jackson. Angelica is my little alter ego name,
Oh,
but my biological is Angela Jackson.
okay.
AKA Angelica Jackson, RE Angie, and DC native, born and raised in Washington, DC. Been here all my life,
Mm,
Yep, okay,
all your
so
life.
all my life. Lived in DC, Washington, Maryland, and in DMV
Yeah.
all my life.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so let's jump right into it. Um, I am 50 years old to date. My birthday was last year, October
Mm,
the 20th. I turned
mm,
50.
mm.
Um, I had I have five children. My first child was born when I was 14 years old. Um, I was the only child of my mom, and when I was a teenager, my mom was on drugs and in the street life. So like I said, I was the only child, and by my mom not being in the house all the time, I was letting boys in and doing things that little
Right.
young girls when they were home alone would do if they
Would
were
do.
there. You
And your
know, yeah.
dad wasn't
Um,
there.
my dad wasn't there. No,
Okay.
my mom and my dad separated very early. I probably like in my very young years, 2 and 3 years old. You know,
Do
my
you
mom.
remember him?
I do. I remember him very well. He's been in my life, not recently, maybe last known in my 30s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was on drugs also.
Okay.
Um,
So you got
so
pregnant at 14.
I got pregnant at 14. Let me go back one step.
Okay.
When I was 12 years old, my mom got married to this man. And he was having trying to have relations
Mm-hmm.
with me. My mom was working at a nightclub over at night, and I was home. And when he was there, he would come in, and try to lay next to me and lick on my ears and do things. And I was just so afraid to say anything to my mom. And this went on for a few years,
Wow,
from the
Angie.
age of 11 to about 13, which I feel introduced me to sexual relations very, very early.
Yeah, because it when we are touched and bothered by these predators at those ages, it it does like wake up something in us young girls that shouldn't be bothered and shouldn't be woken up at that
Yeah,
age. You know?
absolutely. Yes. So, yeah, he did everything but
Right.
actual act of
Exactly.
penetrating me, and that, like I said, went on for a couple of years, and
So did he make you feel like was it a situation, Angie, where it's like you trusted him, or did he make you feel like you better?
I trusted him.
Right.
He made me feel like he was doing something that I knew he shouldn't do, but I
You
trusted him
trusted him.
enough to not say anything and just
Right.
go along with it.
Correct. Wow.
Yeah. And
Why did it
I
stop? How did it stop?
it stopped when he and my mom was having a physical altercation one day.
Hmm.
And he had my mom down on the sofa. He and her used to argue a lot. He had her down on the sofa, and I remember he was over her forcefully. I went in the kitchen and I got a knife and I stood over him. I, only God
Mm.
spoke to me and told me, close my hand to not commit the act of stabbing him in his back to get him off my
Mm.
mother. What I did was
Mm.
let out a loud scream. And when he turned around, he saw me with the knife in my hand. He took off running to the back. And my mother jumped up and ran out the front door.
Mm.
I
Mm.
was standing there with the knife in total shock. I don't know what came over me, but in all in my mind is I wanted him away from us. And I thought that was my chance
Right.
to do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't commit the act. I was too scared. And it was like a froze person. So
Mm.
he my grandmother was picking me up from church that very morning. And when my mom ran out the door, my grandmother had pulled up for me. I had on my slip. I hadn't put on my dress yet because all of that was going on. He ran out of the door. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I got my clothes, my robe, and I went to the front door because we were living in an apartment building. And the downstairs door, you had to get buzzed in. When I got to the glass of the door, I seen my grandmother out there. My mom was talking to her. I didn't see him. Then my grandmother, they all came inside, and that story was told. I never told my mom what he was doing to me until I turned 18 years old.
Wow.
And he had been out of her life. He had been gone, long gone. I never saw him again after that day.
Really?
I never saw him again. I went to stay with my grandparents for a little bit. Um, my mom was staying in that apartment still, but my grandmother took me, and I stayed at their house a lot
Yeah,
because of what was going on. I
correct.
wanted to stay anywhere but there often. My cousin's house, my grandmother, so she
Anywhere.
anywhere. So she took me for a while. And and that I really feel was the start of the curiosity of sex
Of
for
sex,
me.
yeah. That's what happens to us. So many of us
Yeah.
touched inappropriately, all of this old stuff happening, and then it makes stuff feel away. We don't even be knowing.
We don't know. Had no clue until that woke up the clue.
Yeah.
So I had my first child at 14, then my second at 16, every 2 years. They were born 88, 90, 92, 94, and 96.
Girl, you was knocking them out. Okay, so tell me a little bit though about you as a pregnant teen mom. Was there any embarrassment in school, or was it like something like you was like whatever,
Yeah,
you know?
it was. It was embarrassment in school. I tried to hide my pregnancy for a long time. I was wearing big clothes. I was
Mm-hmm.
hunched over. As, but I hid it from my mom for quite a while.
Wow.
I hid it from my mom until I was 4 months
Until
pregnant.
you couldn't.
Until
Right.
yeah, and she wound up. I mean, Terry, I was putting ketchup on pads because she was
She would check.
checking me. She would check. She
Mm-hmm.
would ask me, "Did you have your cycle?" And I would be like, "Yeah." And then I know I better go prepare
Mm-hmm.
something. And it was my mom's. I had pads anyway, but I would do anything to avoid telling her.
Wow.
And that's how. I mean, and I was with my mom, but she was in and out all the time.
So it
You know,
wasn't. She didn't flip out and was like, "You got to get out" or nothing like that. Okay. Good.
do that. She didn't do that, but what she did was, she had me go stay with my father's parents when I had my first son,
Okay.
and my grandparents on my mom's side, they were in and out of my life. My grandfather and my grandmother on my father's side took me, and they had me and my son. My mom,
Wow.
my mom was in the streets. She was on
Mm-hmm.
drugs, heavy drugs. So she wasn't around to really condemn me for what I had
For
done,
what you had done,
or
right?
right, or chastise me for what I had done.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, my grandparents on my dad's side took me in, and my
How was
grandmother was.
that?
It was very strict. My grandmother was very strict. My grandfather wasn't. He was lenient. He tried to spoil me and my son. Do little things for us, but my grandmother wasn't
Uh
having it.
huh.
He was like, "You grown. You too grown. You can't do this. You can't talk on the phone." And I'm like, I got a whole child, and you telling me I can't
Right.
be on the phone after a certain time. So it was
It was
hard. It was a lot.
hard.
I was growing up way too fast for myself, and she wasn't having it.
Yeah.
And by then I was already gone. I was already used to things that I shouldn't have been used
Yeah.
to, having people in the house when I wasn't because my mom was not there.
Yeah.
So growing up a little too fast, and my father's mom didn't approve of that at all.
So
you
when you
know
got pregnant the second time, were you living with them still?
no.
Okay.
So with them, I was back with my mother because I hated living with
Mm-hmm.
them. And my mom, she had got her a place, and I kept saying I wanted to go back with her. It was only because I knew I could have freedom.
Right. Right.
Knew I didn't. I knew I could have freedom because I knew how she
You
was.
knew how she was.
Yep, I knew how she was. I was 16 when and, her and I got into a really big dispute. I woke up and she was selling my kids' stuff from under the Christmas tree.
Mm.
People in the house that she was smoking with, and it was like I tried to do everything to not be that person to wanted to do something to hurt my mother, call her name out of her name, or do anything to her. But it was so hard back then. Watching her go to the Christmas, have I looked at all their stuff was gone, you know. So after that, I just broke up a lot of her stuff. She used to collect crystals,
Mm-hmm.
and she would that was her prized possession. So I broke it up in the middle of the floor. We had, my grandfather came up there. It was just a big mess, and my granddad put
Mm-hmm.
her in treatment. He put her in treatment. Her father, my mother's
Okay.
dad, he put her in treatment, and I just had to go stay with
Oh.
my grandmother and my grandfather. So I was always bouncing around. It wasn't a steady home. By this time, I got two kids, and my grandmother, she was a woman of God. We had to go to church. She woke us up for Sunday school.
Mm.
My grandfather was very strict. Now the roles are reversed. My grandmother is the softie, and my grandfather will. You better not play.
He ain't
I mean,
playing.
like we was terrified of him. So
Wow. Wow.
um,
Wow. 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 I'm just like, you are a whole, you have to function like a whole grown up at 16 with two kids.
and I left there with my grandmother and grandfather. I went and got my own apartment at 16 years old.
Now, what's your status now with school, Angie, at this point? Have you dropped out? Are you still trying to finish?
No, I dropped out. I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
going to school. Um, I didn't finish. I think 16, I was going to Easton. I was in the 11th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I went to school up until I had Tavon, and I had a son. I was taking him to daycare back and forth with, my dad's parents, and I didn't like there. Went to my mom's. It was just so much. So yeah, of course I didn't finish
That's what I'm
school.
saying. That's a lot. You have to function as a whole grown up and a mother, and it's a lot. I'm just sitting here, all these things, thoughts are going through my mind. Like, what is uh, the relationship with you and your mother? Like, when I say relationship, I know that she was always pretty much out in the streets doing the things, she had her own demons, right? But were you all still close? Like, was she like, nurturing? Was she like, I love you? You know what I mean? Like, what was y'all's relationship like?
And she was. I think that's why I was able to still love on her. She wasn't bad at all. It was just the drugs.
Yeah, the drugs.
It
Yeah,
was.
that
She wasn't
substance
bad.
abuse. They're not. You can't. What?
She would apologize. She's so sorry 1,000 times. She would try to get it right 1,000 times. And it went on until I was about maybe 25, 26. I had three apartments since then. I let her come stay with me, and of course she relapsed again.
Yeah,
So it was a back and forth thing with her for a while until she got
until
tired.
she got tired. Now, did she get tired because she just got tired, or did she hit rock bottom and a circumstance caused her to get tired, meaning her health, or she almost lost her life, or something happened, or did
So
she just get tired?
she almost lost her life a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it was that. She was in an apartment and actually seen somebody get killed and got out of the window.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she had so many stories, and I think she really like her grandkids were starting to see her, and I think that really changed because she was staying in my house, and I had went through the program and got a Section 8 house over Southeast over 51st, and
Mm-hmm.
it was like I did everything. I was doing hair always. I went to Chamberlain cosmetology, but I didn't finish, so I had to go get doing hair was my everything.
Mm-hmm.
I would do it out of my house. I would raise the kids. I was always doing it out of my house. So I just made it a definite life standing that I had to go get my hours. I
Yeah.
had to do what I had to do to get my hours, and then I did that. And I wound up going to state board. So me obtaining a hair license was all I knew.
Mm.
That's the way I made money because I had to do it out of my house. And my mom, she was there, she was taking money. So, but our relationship has always been like I'm her only child. She's my only
Right.
mom. And
Because
it was, I don't care what it was, I always just will forgive her. I
that's your mom.
only my one
Right.
mom.
Right.
And
We only get one. And I've learned throughout this process of even doing this podcast, Angie, that our parents have what they have. And unfortunately, a lot of our parents were dealt a bad hand themselves. Like, I don't know what your mom's history is like, but when we get older, we realize, what they did because of what they had inside of them. And
yeah,
if you have parents that are substance abuse or whatever, they're
yeah,
not going to function the way a parent really should.
right, right,
It's not an excuse. I'm not giving them excuses. I'm just trying to get people to understand that
right,
sometimes, you our parents are giving what they got. And if
right,
they don't have nothing else inside of them because of substance abuse or alcoholism or poor upbringing, they got
right.
what they got.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
so thankful to hear though that throughout it all, you still continue to love your mother. You
Yeah.
did, y'all had a fight. I remember you said that about at the.
We had a very like verbal, me just couldn't believe what she was doing. I was yelling, breaking up her stuff. I
Hmm.
never could bring myself to be physical. I just wasn't that to that point where I felt like I hated her. So I couldn't disrespect her as my mom. I could never, ever do it. I just wanted her away from me to get
Hmm.
herself together.
Right.
And she got herself together
Wow.
and she never looked back. She never looked back.
Wow.
She's so thorough. My kids is best person in the world.
Oh.
They now as adults, it's like they are she's their favorite person in the world. So
Oh.
she got herself together finally. It took a while. Maybe it was like shy, maybe 28, 29, roughly around there. But she's been clean for 30 years almost, 26
Oh
years.
my
She been,
gosh.
and she's been doing great.
Mm.
She got herself a nice job, and she was on that job for a long time. She retired from it, and
God's
she's doing real
grace
good.
and mercy is
Yes.
evident in your journey. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, your
And
only mom. He turned it around for you
turned it
and for
around for me,
her.
and I prayed on it so much as a young girl because my grandmother, she definitely taught us that. We was in church real heavy. She taught us to pray. We prayed and prayed, and my grandfather put my mother in treatment 2, 3 times. Nothing worked until she got tired, and she started working for the treatment facility place, cooking. She was the chef in the kitchen for 16, 17
Yes,
years. Yep.
mom.
So she got herself together. She graduated and everything, and they gave her a job as kitchen chef, and then she became the kitchen manager and did. So she
Oh, I
changed
love it.
lives when she came through. What she came through, she changed lives. She was the person in treatment telling her story to people when she in the kitchen cooking. She come out in the meetings and stuff like that and tell them all about her story, you know. So
Yes,
I
Mom.
mean, she definitely did that, and I thank God every day for her and turning her around and having her still here. Because I mean, a lot of our people, you
Mm.
just you don't know your parent is your everything, and it was some trying times back then, going through some things. But I was so thankful to God when she got herself together, because it changed
Wow.
me. It helped me a lot.
Wow,
Yeah,
Angie.
yeah.
Wow.
I was so worried about her all the time, and I was having kids, and I was doing so much, was out of control, and I'm just like, but it turned life around for us in a big way.
So it
I started getting,
actually helped you change as well, I'm seeing. I'm seeing a pivot and a transition for you too
mhm, yes, to
throughout
my
that
mother.
process.
Hmm.
Wow. Look at God.
I went to her school back in 2007. It made me think a lot. I'm like, you just gotta, it's never too late type of get yourself together, to rebuild yourself in life. It's never too late. And
Mm.
sometimes you just gotta put that first foot forward to walk the walk, and I went to hair school and finally got my license in 2007. Even though I went to cosmetology trade school, I didn't have all my hours, and I
Okay.
was doing hair out of my house. I had went to a couple of salons and was shampoo assistant and working and doing clients, but I just didn't feel 100% um legit
Mm-hmm.
without my license,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to go to hair school for 9 months, American Beauty Academy. So I enrolled in American Beauty Academy, got a Pell Grant and everything, all those things. I
Wow.
really didn't, I really didn't know anything about it because I just was not really paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
I had kids, was raising them and doing hair out of my house, trying to make ends meet and on the system and um, working a little job here and there, bartending and stuff like that. But I said I need to go to hair school and get my license, and that's what I did, and made sure I kept it and just
I'm so proud of your story because
yeah.
I'm sitting here like, damn, you had five kids back to back. How in the fuck did you survive five kids back to back?
Yep.
Where'd you
Back
get the
to
money
back.
from? Like how?
Like busting my tail,
Right.
doing hair all day, and I thank
Oh
God
my
for my
goodness.
skill. I thank God for my skill. It was times that I had all of them there in a
Yep.
salon. They were from the age 2 to 12, 2 to 10. They were young and they were there with me. My son was with my mother a lot, or my uncles or my cousins, and I did have a lot of help, thank God, with my cousins.
Thank God.
They kept my kids for me sometimes. My young kids was my cousins, my first cousin's kids. They like best friends, so he would have them over with the girls, a lot, and it helped me out a lot. Whereas though I could work and go to bartending school. I went to bartending school for 3 weeks. I had to do a training and get a certification. I worked at Army and Navy Club downtown for about 5 years, doing in the Daiquiri Lounge and the Eagle Grill. So, bartending was my thing too, and doing
You've
hair.
been
And with
just
both of those,
hustling. Just
big hustle, all my life, big hustle.
yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So when like okay, I want to know your relationship with your children. Like you were raising them so young.
Okay.
How how is your relationship with your children? Is it great?
And it's great, 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 great. My three
Yeah.
daughters, let me tell you what my three daughters do. Okay, so the youngest is 29 and the oldest is 36.
Okay.
My 29-year-old, she the one just had a little baby. I'm their girl. They, every single morning, like clockwork for years, is either one or the other, or all three.
Right.
When I pick up the FaceTime, it's all three of them on there. And I mean, I ain't even open my eyes yet. They on there giggling about something. So they have to tell
Oh,
me every single thing, every single story, every single whatever. They just big comedians. Um, my oldest son, that's my dude. He's a standoffish one. He live his life. He gone on about his life, but he got a family of his own.
oh,
So he the one that is the most distant. And I think I was gonna save this little tearjerker for last, but my next to my youngest son is incarcerated. He just got a 12-year sentence back in 2023. He got arrested in 2020. Wrong. Just and let me tell you a little bit about him, Terry. Graduated with 3.9, always was on the honor roll, went to Crossland, got scouted to go to Newport News College to work at the shipyard. Then he got this job. Always just was an amazing kid, but always want to be with the wrong wannabes. He'll wake me up out of my sleep if his ride don't come at 5 in the morning when he was working for a trash truck company. He would wake me up out of my sleep to beg me to take him to the yard. He just was a great boy, but he just loved, he that other one that you gotta put your hand on the fire to see
to
that it
see.
burns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was always that kid on the other side. He would do so many crazy things, just have me always tearing his tail up when he was little for stuff, setting stuff on fire, throwing rocks, busting windows. I mean, terrible as a 4-year-old. But
Wow.
in school, he was the bomb. He was a great athlete. I mean, the quarterback for Crossland for 2 straight years. And right now, they say he is the best thing ever in basketball and football. And I'm like, he took me all the way there. Like, I think I lost about 30 pounds when it first happened.
Wow, Angie.
Because my kids and I are like,
So close.
nothing can break me and my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and my kids' kids. And everybody be like, grandma, mama. No, my kids be like, grandma, big grandma energy. They be like, grandma, grandma. Every last one of them. Down to look, he's 6 months old now. All he knows is his grandma.
Oh,
So my kids are, and I raised them up in the salons with me,
yep.
right there, all the time. They were always with me, or my mom will have them sometimes, or my grandparents, or my cousins. But most of the time, they were with me at the shops.
Did any of the girls follow in your footsteps and do they do hair?
Yeah, my daughter's a makeup artist. She did Just Alert time or two. She's real big in makeup artistry. She do hair. My daughter's so in all my weaves. This one, every last one.
Yes.
My youngest daughter and my middle girl is a nail tech. She does my nails.
Okay. So they grew
So
up in there and that, yep.
that's all
I figured as
they
much.
it is like it's natural. It's a thing what they inherited, but they
Yep.
don't want to do it as a career. The one who's a makeup artist, she's a dental assistant. She works in all the dentist office, either as receptionist or assistant, the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter that does nails, you know who Dominique is. She work at Crab King. She work at Crab King with Keith
Oh,
as the
yes.
chef.
Oh.
She does
That's
my nails
right.
and got big clients doing nails and a chef.
That's
And
right.
And my youngest daughter, she works concierge. She works 1901, like down at the new buildings by where the DC jail is, that new development down
Mm-hmm.
there by the subway. She's concierge, but she does hair. So I think they just got it natural, but they like to do other things, but they use their natural talent because they do it so fluently also.
Wow. Wow. You really have shown me a side of you that I didn't even know. Your resilience and your hustle is
Well,
unmatched.
thank you.
You ain't gonna find a lot of people around here or anywhere else who can say they had their first baby at 14, the next one at 16, the next one at 18, the next one at you know, and then she's still popping, still look good, still hustling. The kids are all good, doing good. You still doing good. Ain't nobody homeless. Like, come on. You know God
Exactly.
got you. God, in my opinion, you have been marked as one of his favorites from the start.
So when I say you said that better than I could have ever imagined it being so, because every single time in my life, I say, I'm not even, my mother told me a word, powerlessness. And she say, I'm telling you, I've watched you go through things and go through your life, and God handpicked you as one that He
For
favored.
sure.
Because I have not known plenty of times how I was going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
All I did was put in an effort a little bit, and it manifest every single time, and I just kept on walking in that walk. Well, I know if I go do that, God gonna get me. He got me. Let me go fill out for this. Let me go fill out for this apartment. I know I ain't really got no big credentials. I ain't did nothing but hair and bartend all my life. I did security in my older years just now for Amazon. That's my one. But I have been having people patronize me since I was 18 years old, booth renting. That's how I raised all my kids. And I be saying, and now my hands hurt, my hands hurt, my hands hurt. Hypertension, arthritis. And I be like, you know what? I ain't even gonna claim it, God. You got it because you already know this my life right here.
Right.
I get through it. I get through it. You know, I seen people get all the way to the point where they can't even do nothing in certain areas when they have pain or when something is bothering
Yeah.
them. By the grace of God, He has gave me a gift that keeps on giving, and I know it ain't nobody but God.
Nobody but. Nothing else makes sense. When you tell this story, nothing else makes sense. And so that's what God does though. God will make it so that he will allow your life to be so crazy and you think like, damn, like God, you love me for real? Like what's happening in here? But he will allow certain things because he needs to make sure he can use it to prove to people that it's no other way
No other
except
way.
he stepped in and he covered it. He made sure he got your mama together and he got you together and he kept all them kids together. And look at y'all now.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing else makes sense.
No, nothing else.
Look
Nothing.
at you. Okay.
And
I'm so proud
in
of you.
heaven. Thank
I'm
you. Thank
so
you so much.
proud.
Thank you.
Mm.
And if you, my daughters, they are. I mean, I look at them and I just know, I just thank God
You know
for
it's
everything He
the
has
favor
done.
from the Lord. You like there's nothing else that can explain this.
Nothing, nothing. I just thank Him that He did it for me. He did it for me. Help. He kept me. He made sure he put people in my life, to see me through and help me. And he guided me in every single direction to bring me out on the other side.
Thank you, God. Yes.
And he is still doing it. He is still doing
Yes.
it.
Yes. I'm sorry. You are living proof. God is the truth. Okay? Stan say that all the time.
Thank you.
You living proof, girl. God is
Thank
the truth.
you.
Okay?
Yeah.
Living proof. So,
Yeah.
you lied to everybody talking about something you 50, and I ain't check you on it. You talking about something I'm 50 years old. I said, listen to her over there lying to everybody on here. I ain't check her, y'all. 50?
Finally 50. I was like, oh, I didn't think I was going to ever get hit. But because
Wow.
I never feel, we don't feel nowhere. And then, we don't think it's old.
And you sure don't look nowhere near that. Not that 50 is old, because I'm over
Uh,
that.
it's
But I'm just
exactly. And
saying,
look at you looking
no,
35. When I
you.
say we are the most beautiful generation in the world.
Yes, indeed. Listen,
Yes.
So at what point though, Angie, I gotta ask, did you decide after number 5 that you ain't having no more? When did you decide I'm gonna stop being so fruitful? You done fulfilled God's mission and you was being fruitful. When did you say, okay,
Dude,
no more?
that day, that day, I say whatever you got to do. Take them off, out, throw them in the trash. I was like, and I'm going to go ahead and say right now, because I've never been married or anything. But I'm going to go ahead. I made
You
my
made that
conviction.
decision.
Whoever
Did you
is
do
going to
you
be the,
regret it?
no, no, not
So
at
there was
all.
never a time where you wish, Dag, I do wish I had some more, one more, two more.
Never.
No?
There's no more. There's no way.
Right.
There's no more.
No
Because
more.
guess what? The second time around is coming. They here. Them
Them
grandkids.
grandbabies.
My oldest grandbaby is 17, getting
Oh,
ready to graduate from Dunbar this year. He is a superstar in football and just signed with a North College, and I'm so proud of him.
so which
He's
which one of your children does he belong to?
my oldest son.
The one you said is kind of distant.
Yep, that's his first child. My
Wow.
oldest son, first child. He made me a mama first, a grandmama
He
first,
made you
of
a
course.
grandma first.
Yeah,
I'm I'm just so proud. So
thank
proud.
you.
And I'm so grateful again for you saying yes to me to being a part of this. This project is so near and dear to my heart because of
Yeah,
stories like yours. And I'm just very grateful that we're doing what God wants us to do, sharing, being transparent,
yeah,
and turning wounds into wisdom. That's what this is for me, Angie. It's about turning our wounds
yeah,
into wisdom for someone else,
yeah.
you
Yes,
know?
I agree. Yeah,
So
yeah,
thank you.
and let them see, that trauma is in everybody's life, but you do not have to live in it. I mean, it happens to us all, and we definitely God. As long as you have God in your life, in your heart, and
Mm,
in your
mm,
soul,
mm.
baby,
What my
he
shirt
will.
say, y'all? Can y'all see what my shirt say?
Won't he do it?
Won't he
Won't he?
do it?
Won't he?
How appropriate was this shirt for tonight? Listen, I
Yes,
didn't even know what you were.
yes.
I didn't even have a clue what you were going to talk to me about. You know what I mean? And I do that intentionally because I like for these moments for myself, for me to give the best of me, to be um, completely organic. I don't like to already know everything.
Mm-hmm.
I like for my reaction and my questions and stuff to be organic in the moment, and that's what has made this platform so great in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I
So
agree.
I do want to ask, what do you think? Do you think your mother would want to be on this one day?
I think she
You think
would.
she would?
Yeah.
Ask her and let me know.
Okay.
I would want
I'm
to
gonna ask
sit.
her.
I would actually want to sit down with her in person.
Oh please. Oh please.
So
And we
just Just
I'm gonna
put
make
it
it
out
happen.
there for me and let me
She
know what
would
she say.
love. She would love it, and she's so transparent as well. You're gonna be like, wow. I'm gonna make it happen for
Okay,
you.
let's make that happen.
Okay. Yeah.
I love you.
I,
You are
I
just
love
one of
you
the most
more.
beautiful souls that God created, and don't you ever forget that. You hear
Thank
me?
you so much, Terry. Thank you, and
Okay.
you inspire me more than you can ever know, babe.
Oh, well, I'm here to
You.
continue to do that.
Yes.
Okay? You
Yes.
got me for as long as you want me. You stuck with me.
Yes. Yes. That's a pleasure. Yes.
Well,
Thank
I want to thank
you.
everybody for tuning in to another episode of Trauma to Triumph. Tonight was so good. Thank you so much, Angie. I'm going to keep this live. This will be posted on my Instagram as well as YouTube. I'm going to edit it a little bit before I post it on YouTube, and then I'll send you, Angie, the link. But in the meantime, y'all can just go and enjoy this live and rewatch it as many times as you want. So. Thanks again. If you all want to be a part of this podcast, you know what to do. Send me an email or a DM or just sign up on the website.
And come on, y'all. Let's help Terry help everybody.
Yay! We are healing people, y'all. So this is a movement. Let's go.
Yes.
Let's
Let's
keep it
go.
going.
Yeah.
Okay? And I love you. And I will see y'all next Tuesday at 9 o'clock p.m. Okay? Next Tuesday night. Oh, you know what? I'm lying. Because guess what? The Serious Vibe Cruise is on Sunday, and I will be gone next Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'll be
Yeah.
gone next
Oh,
Tuesday,
that's
y'all. So you will.
here already. The
Yes.
time is pushing.
Yep. So
Mm-hmm.
it'll be the Tuesday after next, y'all. I'll be back at 9 o'clock. Okay? I love everybody, and
Tuning
y'all have a
in.
great week. Devin, you next. Devin.